Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Queen Bee Nomads, where we are currently sailing the Bahamas for our first time. We recently finished our sailing courses back in Canada. We bought a boat in Florida, and we jumped the Gulf Stream to the Bahamas. So now that you're caught up, here's where we're at with our Sailing Adventure series. We just moved the boat to Green Turtle Cay in the Bahamas, home to some of the clearest water we've ever seen. You can look straight to the bottom. We were on high alert for bull sharks, but luckily didn't spot any today. What a relief! So we dropped the dinghy and headed to the quay to explore, and we were seriously surprised by what we found. We're walking around Green Turtle Cay, and this is one of the roads that we just came down. And if you look at Google Maps and you want to get anywhere else, it's pointing us towards this one. This is how some of the islands are. The roads just kind of lead to trails. They haven't really been, forested trails like this, but they definitely don't look like normal roads that we're used to. Here we go. Some people are present on a beach. It's not too often that we find others on a beach. Normally we have these beaches all to ourselves. Those folks over there found a stingray and are petting it.
And a turtle.
And a turtle! If you've been following along, you'll know that we've been a bit worried about the stingrays and sharks. He's coming over to us? Oh. The stingrays are coming over to us. There's a shark swimming around the tourists, and they're saying, "Just breathe through it." These are stingrays and not the harmless manta rays. Stingrays have a venomous barb for self-defense. Mantas, they have zero stinger. They're completely harmless, gentle giants, so you need to be careful around stingrays. Three of them, and oh my gosh, when they swim up to you they look really massive, but they're just curious. I think they're also hoping that you might feed them some shrimp. They're really curious when we put the GoPro in the water. They came up to the GoPro and it seemed like they were like checking it out. You could see their eyes looking at it, which is really interesting. There's also a turtle over there, and there's apparently a shark. We're not exactly brave enough to say hi to the shark. So why do they all gather right here? Decades ago, local boat captains started feeding them squid. Now these wild rays, sharks, and turtles are fully socialized and expect a snack. The big turtle even got a bit of the little girl's finger in his mouth. She wasn't too happy about that.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. Now we're just walking down another random road to try to see what else is around. We've been making an itinerary where we're only staying on each quay for a day, trying to move on. We have a bit of mileage to cover. We need the right weather window now to cross the Gulf Stream again to get back to the States, and given that we had to wait 10 extra days in Miami to get over here, we just don't know what it's going to be like trying to get back. So we don't want to stay past our 30-day cruising permit that we have here in the Bahamas. There's not really much planning we can do at the very end. It's just kind of luck. On our way here in the dinghy, it looked like a squid jumped out of the water almost into the boat. Snorkeling in this area was something that we hadn't experienced before. There were pockets of water that were so hot that it felt like you were in a hot tub. And then you would soon have a rush of freezing cold water. We couldn't get over how hot the water was. I wonder why there isn't much life down here. We decided to head to Foxtown because on Google Maps it showed it being a little town, whereas the previous keys that we had visited had no civilization or structures, just spots to anchor, swim, and snorkel.
It's hot.
Yeah, it is. I think it's like 33, 34.
Feels like 44.
It's not enough wind. That's what I say. But Phil said it would just help if it was cooler to begin with. But we're in Foxtown. We were supposed to go just to Pensacola. We did go, but there was nothing to do there. The highlight was Swinger's Delight, and that was a swing that faced the ocean. And there was no wind. We were just so hot, so we decided to keep on going. At least when we're in the boat, then there's some breeze. We came up to the dock. A nice gentleman came to help us. I asked him if everything was open. It's 4 p.m. when we got there. He said, oh yeah, the grocery store there and the restaurant here. We have everything here. And that's all that is here. There is nothing else. Just some houses. We had a guy that stopped. He was offering us a ride, I believe, or maybe he thought we needed help, because why would two people be walking in this extreme heat to nowhere? But we were just trying to sightsee. So now we're heading back, and we want to get a cold drink to just support the business, and because we use their dock also. And tomorrow is a long sail, hopefully. It's finally a day that we can sail. It shows winds of like 11 knots.
I thought 15.
It was a range. And
10 to 15.
And
It's going the right direction.
And it's going the right direction that we're going, finally. So we can use it. So we're gonna get up early tomorrow, and this was our only time that we were able to sightsee in Foxtown, so that's why we're doing this right now, even though it's so hot. And yeah, so we're going to move on to Sail Key, which means that we're getting closer to being at the end of our Bahamas trip, because there's only a couple more stops after that, and then we're done. We just got back from Foxtown, and we're putting the dinghy back up onto the boat, and yeah, they're very lovely people there. I actually really like that little spot. And at the restaurant, there was this little girl. She was at first sitting with her grandpa and her baby sister. And the grandpa ended up just leaving with the baby sister. And this girl was just sitting there all by herself. No one's ever checked on her the whole time we were there. So she came and sat with us and started talking to us. And she said she was 10, but I think she was more like 7. And it was really funny because she asked where we live. And we said, oh, over there on that boat. And she was like, why do all the white people live out on the sea? It was really funny. It made us laugh. We're still laughing about it. She was very confused. But she asked if we're going to come back tomorrow for lunch. We had to tell her no. She wanted to come onto the boat. We had to tell her no. But we are going to leave early tomorrow. I think like 6 a.m. is what Phil is thinking.
As soon as the sun's up.
Soon as the sun's up. So we gotta have dinner, relax, go to bed. See you tomorrow. That's it for us in this episode. If you enjoy the stories that we tell, to give more of a perspective of what we're experiencing, then let us know in the comments. And if you're new here, please remember to subscribe so that you don't miss what's coming up next. Because we're a few weeks away from hurricane season, and we actually get held back from traveling for a few days because of the non-stop storms. It keeps us on the boat and stressing. So follow along and see you in the next one.